time.
Good evening, Cubes of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and joining me as every Tuesday, we have the man with the fattest stack of comics in the land. Rob, how you doing tonight, sir?
At least some of those Tuesdays now.
Right? And of course, my northern brother, Steve the Voice White. How you doing, Steve?
G'day, everybody.
All right, and of course, we have a special co-host this evening because we can't have his comic book dad on without having him on. We have Surcam Stances himself, Marcus, and we need to congratulate him on passing that 900 mark, and he is on his way to 1,000.
Congrats.
I can't believe it. The next milestone is 1K, dude. I can't believe it.
And Mark, just like last week, we have Marcus's links are in the description below. If you're not subbed up to him, please go check him out. He's got a show coming up later tonight, as he does every Tuesday, FOC and Chill, where they may or may not talk about FOC, but they will definitely chill and talk about something.
Probably not FOC, not likely.
And of course, last time he was on the channel, he was a guest on In the Hot Seat. And I'm not sure if we had started this show or not yet, but it's been a hot minute. It's been too long. We're remiss. We should have had him back sooner. But our guest of the hour, we have none other than Alternative City Comics on Instagram and Indie Comics in Review on the YouTubes. We have Lorenzo. Good evening, Lorenzo.
Good evening.
Yay.
How's
Nice
everybody?
to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Good to be seen.
So, as we like to do with this show, or any show I'm doing, give the quick 2 minutes who you are, what your channel's about. We'll go say hi to the audience, and then we're going to come back to you for your first book.
Okay. Well, I'm Indie Comics and Reviews. It's in the name. I'm big into indie comics. Most of my 10 comics, or my 10 plus 2, are indies tonight. We do, Marcus, my comic son, and I do a Wednesday live stream where we talk about the books I picked up, what's happening, and far as sometimes we have guests as far as indie creators go. We talk about next week's books, and we have a book, what I call the penultimate book, which is the pick of the week every week, and that's a book that I'm kind of excited about in the indie world to look forward to. And
it's always a banger.
So, sometimes there've been a few misses, but it's usually always obscure. So something that you might miss if you're not paying attention to indie books.
Right. I'm trying to get everybody on that Helen of Windhorn. I'm loving that book.
Oh, yes.
That book
Yes.
is so
That's,
good.
I don't know why I like it, but I too like it. I can't even tell you why.
It's just so much character development just in those issues, especially the relationship between the charge and her keeper. It's just so good.
And that art just works for some reason. It's just working.
Oh yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like Billy Elvis, her art, it's just really complements Tom King's storytelling.
Oh my God, it's such a great team up.
Yes,
like
like when I heard they were getting back together, the team that did the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely getting that book. There's just no way that's not going to be in my collection.
Yeah.
No way I'm not reading that. But
now I have to look for that Supergirl book, though. At least maybe I can get a trade of that because it's kind of going up in price now.
It's really good. Luckily, I got it as it came out, and it was just what a phenomenal read. You're gonna love it. I definitely recommend the trade, Lorenzo. You will not be disappointed.
Awesome.
If you're liking Helen of Windhorn, you're gonna love that. The in-depth he does with Supergirl is amazing. But let's get over to our audience. Now, we got some people that are going to be coming over from Joe's show. He's interviewing Doug Bratton tonight, who we'll have on this channel on the 23rd for his book, Isolation. But we have Las Cruces. Good evening, sir. Brad is going to catch us on the replay. Enjoy that ball game with your daughter tonight, sir.
Excellent.
We have Phil Streethouse. Good evening, Phil. Brother John's Comics. Good evening, sir. We have Naman. Comic Bookworm. Good evening, Naman. Nice to see you, buddy. We have Brian LCS. Good evening, Brian. Nice to see you. And we have so many different shows going at the same time tonight for some reason. It became like a paradox. It was like a nexus point.
Joe went on at 7, didn't he?
Yeah, well, we got some people that are going to be coming over from Joe, so we'll keep nodding to them as they pop in. But Cali Comics, good evening, sir. But Lorenzo, let's get back to you, sir. So, like you said, you're big into indies. So I'm curious. Indies are very individualistic with the story they're being told and who they connect with, who they don't connect with. So I'm really curious to see what connects you to these stories and what stories actually speak to you. So start us out with your first book, sir.
All right. Well, the stories that speak to me are stories that are pretty much about the human condition or the human animal in its environment. I find it a lot more interesting. I still love the superheroes. You know, I love Spider-Man, Batman. You know, those are my two big superhero characters. But the indies to me are just like, it's just endless possibilities. And the first one, not getting too deep into that, is one for my comic son and I both relate to this one because this is
Excellent.
the late Ed Piskor, the Red Room series, one of his the most controversial series that he did. Yeah, and this book was picked up by my good comic son Marcus when he was what show was this you were at and I couldn't make it. This was well, he's muted. Oh, he doesn't.
Sorry, Heroes Con.
Heroes Con. Thank you. Of course, the big one. Heroes Con. Yeah, he picked up a copy of this for me. Man, this is the obvious homage here, and I love homages. I love indies. I love Ed Wood's. Well, Ed Piskor's work. Yeah,
and that's
I
a
love
great
Ed Wood too.
homage.
Yeah. This is
That's
a very
cool cover. I love it,
and it's quite interesting artwork in there, and the way that they did the panels inside that book.
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly on a grid, I think, for most of them. You know, the basic panel grid, but he would stray from that from time to time, and we all know how gory Ed could get in this series.
Big time.
The art was crazy, though. Like the story was okay, but the art was crazy.
Yes, it was. It was amazing. But just that weird color to the inside, kind of like an orangey kind of look to it.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that. It was
I don't know either. It's wild.
Yeah, did he use actual paper like that, or was it software related? I know he was pretty much a traditional artist, so he didn't like to use the software and the iPad and all that stuff. But who knows? It turned out great though. So I love this book.
Nice.
I love this book.
Good start.
Yes. Let me put this down here.
And it was a tragic end to the poor man too.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's that bummed me out for quite a while, but I've just gotten deeper into his art because I'm trying to get everything that he ever made now. Only thing I'm missing, I think, is probably Shorties or something like that. I forget the Shotgun Shorties or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I've been finding a lot of his books in
WYSIWYG.
dollar bins and $2 sales. It's crazy.
I get those all day.
But it's nice when you collect a niche and you can find the books cheap, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. But it's criminally underrated.
Yes.
That's right. You're just ahead of the curve, Steve.
Hey,
that's the way I look at it.
You got to win once in a while. You can't lose every day.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Lorenzo.
All right. Next book is I'm gonna just go totally to the Silver Age. Shows that I'm not all indie, and I had to have an origin somewhere where that got me into comics. I was already into comics at the time that I first saw this book, but I was unaware of this character. And I sometimes talk about my buddy Harold. I've mentioned him maybe a couple of times, maybe in my live stream or that we do. There's a kid I sat next to in fifth grade, and Harold was reading this book. I said, "What is that, man?" And he showed me. It's like Amazing Spider-Man number 63. And this is this is not a key book at all. It's not a sought after anything, but I thought this was just, what is this, man? I only read like Sad Sack and stuff like that before,
right?
And I had a hint of this Fantastic Four number 40. It was my first Marvel book, but I had no idea who Spider-Man was. When I saw who Spider-Man was, and this issue, he's like swinging around in the rain. He slips and hurts his arm, and then he has to fight the Vulture. And there's two Vultures in this book, but he has to fight one. One's in jail, but he fights the original Vulture. At the end, there was a cliffhanger. I thought, like, oh my God, I have to get the next issue. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but because I was kind of a sheltered child, I didn't get out much. But So when the kid showed me this book here, I was just smitten with Spider-Man from then on.
You know, and as a kid, I always really liked the Vulture stories for some reason. He was just an atypical villain, right? He's someone like you wouldn't think would be a threat to Spider-Man. He's an old guy, looks kind of odd, and it's just he's not someone you would think Spider-Man would struggle with. But Toomes always had something going on where he could get at Spider-Man, and he was just one of those villains that was fun to read.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe they kind of gave him that handicap with the sword shoulder just to give the Vulture a little bit of an advantage to make it a cliffhanger. Because
Right.
otherwise, at the end he's just barely hanging on, and the Vulture is still attacking him. He's coming in for the kill. I mean, wonder what's going to happen in the next issue. Hooked on Spider-Man from then on.
Poor Spider-Man getting a bad rap.
I agree with
that?
Nauman. 1 through 100 is the key. It doesn't matter. I agree with Nauman.
Yeah. I mean, anything below 100. Yeah, I wish I still had some of those. This is my gateway drug into Marvel Comics.
A gateway drug. I like that.
Hey, Spider-Man's always popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a large chunk of my reading growing up.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't just read the Spider-Man comics once. You'd read them over and over and over again.
Oh, sure. I mean, back then we didn't have the glut that we have now, where it's maybe what Stan's soapbox would tell you all the Mighty Marvel checklist would tell you all the books that are coming out that month, and that's maybe 15 books, maybe 10, 15
right.
books. Yeah, so,
and I was also, I don't know if you were this way, Lorenzo. I was that kid. I love the letters pages. I read every letters page.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He gets weird.
That is weird.
It wasn't part of the story.
There's no comic strips in that part. That's reading.
I love the letters pages.
That was work.
I always have.
I never sent one in, but I always thought it'd be nice to do so.
Right. Joe, what's up, sir? Right, next one.
Steve, I guess you and I are on our own little island.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, that's too much work for us. We just move on.
Really, Rob? I would have thought you would have read them.
No, I read comics. First of all, not as a kid, but when I finally started reading comics, it was because I had difficulty reading large walls of text on a book because of.
So the letters pages are kind of like.
So I might as well read a novel, which will take me forever because I'm a very slow when it comes to reading due to reading
Same
issues.
Here.
But when you break it up into small pieces, like a comic book, it makes it very easy to digest the reading. So if you have dyslexia or whatever, it's much easier on you.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and I just like to see, and I think kind of too, though, I think why, and you can speak for yourself, obviously, but the reason I like it, you kind of got, you didn't have people to talk to about comics. And when you're reading the letters pages, it was kind of like what YouTube is now, right? You're reading people that like the same things
I never
you
thought
like.
of that.
And they're kind of having the same experience you're having with it. You're like, oh, I like that part too. I only thought I would like that part.
I can see that. My experience was different though, because I was in military school when I started reading comics, and so we would be on the weekend hanging out in one of the barracks, group of guys passing books around, discussing them, what we were reading in the books.
So you had your panel, so that's fine.
Yeah,
you didn't need to read the back of the book because you had your people there.
Exactly.
But that's pretty cool that you had that too, though, Rob. That you could just
that is very cool.
talk to other people about it.
What else are you going to do? Go run?
Right?
That sounds like work too.
Are you saying, Rob, that you have not done a lot of running?
Oh, when I was there, I did lots of running. Rain, sleet, or snow, uphill. Somehow it was always uphill. It was never a downhill.
Somehow.
Kept going up.
All right, Lorenzo, awesome. Number 3, sir.
All right, number 3. Number 3 is, I guess it was borderline silver, bronze age. And this is a book that was self-published, I guess, by one of the best comic book artists out there. He had kind of a short career and kind of a sad ending. But along the way, he made a lot of great art. And this one is easy to find. I mean, there's like so many of these books out there. Apparently, there was an auction. Yeah.
That's cool.
And you would think it'd be worth more, I think it's maybe
It's not.
10, $20 maybe if you got it in great shape, and then you grade it maybe under 100. But the Heroes Inc. with this Canon character, I think it was produced mostly. I don't know if you might know, Rob, but was this like sold at barracks and stuff like that in the service?
I was never in the service proper, so I couldn't say.
Okay. Yeah, but I think that's where this was really because it's got kind of a cheesecakey kind of a feel, the way he draws the women and the big masculine dude Canon.
And I think part of why it's not expensive is there was just tons that never went out. People could find them like by the pallet.
Yes. I heard there was an auction not long ago. There was like 70,000 sold. So who knows how many are out there? It's not like it's actually rare.
Sometimes the
still
price
good work.
Sometimes, like newspapers, the price on it wasn't to cover the cost or anything. It was they just wanted to get them out there, and the price was just to be able to try to track how many were actually purchased and sold versus anything else.
And there's CJ telling us there was a warehouse find of that Heroes for Canon, and that's why they were so low valued.
Yeah. So, well, still a great book.
It is just a fun book.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, it's you can tell it was made just by the cartoonist himself. I would call him a cartoonist, even though maybe didn't call himself that, but he made it just because he enjoyed drawing this kind of stuff, and he didn't have to worry about anybody censoring his work or editors, pulling him in, reining him in.
Right.
So this
no
is
Comics Code Authority. Well, not back then anyway.
Yeah. So this is good Wally Wood stuff here. The guy who is a legend.
My man, Wally Wood.
I've never
Beautiful
seen
book.
that before. That's cool. Yeah.
Really? Wow. Yeah.
Well, now there's a lot of them out there. We can go get copies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Next con you're at, just dig around for them, man. You probably be able to find them easily.
My
15
artist friend
center.
here, Ken Wheaton, he had a short box of them, so he brought one in for me. He goes, if you don't have one, you should. I'm like, thanks.
I know.
Pick that up. Pick up Space Ace while you're at it.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember the title of that, Rob. Thank you.
The Interpox Space Ace. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a free giveaway book, and there's a million of them too.
Yep.
Wow. It might not be as prevalent as Spawn #1, but it's up there.
Or X-Men 1.
Or X-Men. Oh my God. That X-Men.
As far as a high grade Golden Age book goes, though,
yeah,
a lot of them out there.
There is.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising. I picked one up cheap too. Great
Wally
artwork.
Wood was just so important to comics during his time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right.
Hey,
Ready for number 4. Number 4. This is it's a lot of buzz about the Transformers, this Daniel Warren Johnson series, and rightfully so because it's awesome. I was not a fan of the Transformers early on. I guess I kind of missed that generation. But
Same.
I did. Yeah. But DWJ has managed to draw me in with this story because he started over and he made it a little bit more relatable to this generation and a little bit more adult, I guess you would say. But before that, there was this thing called Dreamwave. This was back maybe in 2020, maybe early 20s, the early aughts, I should say.
Right.
And there's this whole bunch of artists and writers named Lee that came up with this Dreamwave thing, and this was super hot for a while.
Wow.
I mean, this is one of the periods I was. Do you remember this? Yeah. There was like another cover that was even more valued than this one, and I was never able to get that cover because it was so hard to find. This one's actually numbered. It has some kind of a certificate or authenticity.
It's signed too, right?
Yeah. It's signed by all the artists,
And the creators.
All the creators. Yeah, everyone signed this one and it's certified. This wish I could go back in time and sell it. You'd probably get a lot for it on if it was eBay back then. Maybe not.
Now they're in $2 bins, unfortunately.
All day long.
Got a whole whack of them from $2.
I know.
Unreal
Certificate.
again.
Yeah, certificate and all doesn't make a difference,
Nope.
But there's some nostalgia for this for those of us who did. I kind of enjoyed that era because it was ambitious, like Daniel Warren's was, but it just kind of petered out after like maybe 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
I don't remember how far it went.
Optimus just going to town.
Yes, and it's I don't know if this is a polarizing thing, but it's a foil. You know, many people love foil. Some of you hate them. Some of you love them.
It's fine foil, but it makes it for shiny robots.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
There were so many variant covers of that series too. Like they did a ton of variants.
Yes. Yes. And they came out.
A book from the 2000s being a #1 with variants.
Yes.
No.
Lots.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that.
Imagine.
Yeah. Who knew what was happening in the future? We would just go crazy with the foils and the variants now. You know, I still love them.
That's right. Give me an embossed foil variant with an embossed foil virgin variant with what else can we have with other weird trick ponies can we have with it? A hologram cover.
Cut out covers.
Don't forget the die cut.
A die cut foil.
Die cut foil
embossed hologram cover.
There you go.
Yes.
That's the trifecta.
And make it a third printing 1 for $25. So
that's right.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking. So there you go.
Damn.
With a lenticular die.
Right.
Now I will find me some lenticulars now in the dollar bin once in a while. I'll pick them up, you know, because I love those novelties like that. You know, like
it's great about lenticular foils
and chromium too. Got it.
Yeah.
Those lenticular covers, they grade really high.
Is that what they call those covers too? That like when you change the angle of it, the picture.
Yeah, it's lenticular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So you guys remember like on super cereal boxes, there used to be lenticular like cereal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And now remember too, you know, like that one you said you can get it in $2 bins.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like a lot of the dynamic forces that were like that too. There's a signature on it, a COA, and you can find a lot of dynamic forces books in $2 bins that have never been opened. They have
my god!
But it's good for us because we like that stuff and we don't want to spend tons of money on it. You get all kinds of them.
You can get like signatures like Amanda Connor and just like good signatures, and you can get them cheap.
Sure. I've gotten some great signatures in the $1.25 bin from time to time, and like that one, and like the next book actually.
My best find, I'll tell you real quick before we get to it, and I had to send this to Small Town Collectibles, Jimmy the Don, because growing up in the 80s, I was a big A-Team guy, right? So who wasn't? Jimmy's a big A-Team guy, and you know, of course, if you like the A-Team, you like Mr. T, and they had Mr. T and the T-Force out.
Oh my god!
And in the 50-cent bin, still polybagged in near mint shape, I found a copy of Mr. T and the T-Force with the card, the gold holofoil, and his signature for 50 cents.
No.
I'm like, man, I picked it up really well. I'm like, you know, the greedy part of me would keep this, but this has got to go to Jimmy. So that went down to Jimmy.
You must have been geeking out there, Gary.
Oh yeah!
Wow!
I mean, Mr. T's signature for 50 cents. I'm like, I couldn't believe it.
Oh, that's a tragedy right there, man. The guy was an icon.
Well, I don't even know if they knew they put it in the 50-cent bin. I brought up like this was in the. They're like, well, then I guess you get it for 50 cents. I'm like, sold.
Yeah, no, I'll take it.
Don't even hesitate. Here, I'll give you $1. You could double your money on it.
Frog. So we had Jerry the Jitterbug, Melodope, Frog Brawler, Random Rick Reviews, all these gents popping in. Good evening, gents. Our number 5, Lorenzo.
Number 5, keeping that signature theme going. This one is by one of the greats again. Got a lot of the greats in here. This one is George Perez. George Perez signed a lot of stuff. Y'all know that, I'm sure, because you run across the signature everywhere, right? This is one book that I guess there was high hopes for this because it was supposed to be a 6-issue series. Honestly, it's not one of my favorite books, but it's one of the most puzzling that I've ever read because it's so complex. I believe George is writing it himself with Tom Smith. And it's called Crimson Plague. This is number 1.
Yeah.
This was.
Wow.
I don't know. I think the premise of it basically is there's this space, like a space station, and this woman. There's 2 women. There's like a female-driven lead characters. One of the women has this toxic blood, and if she bleeds on you, then you're gonna die. It's just like some kind of like worse than acid or something. So that's part of the very complicated story. And they planned for this to go 6 issues. It only, I think, made two only. So I haven't gotten number 2 yet. I may have number 2. I'm not sure. I know the best laid plans. I know, right?
Yep, happens.
So, and this one is another certified issue. So what's new? This is just from Wizard, from Wizard even. Yeah, so it's got the Wizard certification there, and
Nice.
so it must be legit. So it's found in the dollar bin probably years ago. Kept it and thought it would. Hey, well, I actually have the A cover too. I've read that one. I never opened this one. I just kept this around like, oh, it's George Perez's signature.
Signature on it. Why would you open it?
Yeah. So this is for sure George Perez signature. Scott
And you
Point,
put it in a
George
good
Perez.
spot. It pops right there.
Oh man, this is nice.
And it's cheap. It's on my comic shop, $2.50 for
Is it?
issue. Yep.
As a signed one?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
That'll be $3.50.
Come on,
It's a
$5
$3 one for A.
It's $5. Come on.
That's a little bit hard to find.
Well, now
Yes.
that George
Bring
Perez
back Wizard.
unfortunately is no longer with us, a signed one's probably a little bit pricier now.
Oh yeah.
It might be, but
But
this
is
is
it
a for
worth
sure
the cost
signature.
of authenticating and having it encapsulated? Probably not.
Yeah, that.
Not unless you're just a George Perez, you just love his stuff.
Yeah,
true.
You're
exactly.
a completionist and you want all of it.
That's a good point. Yeah, if it's just
Definitely
that means that
bring
much to
back
you.
Wizard.
Yeah, we could use a wizard now, couldn't we? I mean, some kind of a guide out there, or some kind of.
I was
fun
subscribed to
magazine.
Wizard back in the day too. I got every
Key
issue that came
collector is
out.
the new wizard. Key collector is the new wizard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
pretty much.
Spoken like a true millennial.
Yeah. Doesn't have the same magic to it.
Coming through
I
a
used to
book.
love
Hey, I was reading Wizard back then too, guys. Back off.
Isn't
Just-
Comic
Back off.
just
Isn't
messing.
Comic Tom your new wizard?
Oh, you could be just messing with you, son.
Right.
It's a beautiful
Here's
book,
what you
though.
should
I love
buy.
the signature placement. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And even the woman who played, I guess they had some woman play one of the characters, Dina. She signs it too, so it's double signed by Dina and Perez.
It's awesome.
Oh, was it Dina Meyer?
I don't think so. No, it's another person, but who may have faded into obscurity, I'm afraid. But hey, you're a George Perez fan. I think it's priceless.
I know we're gonna have to put Marcus in a timeout corner for that Wizard remark, though.
Oh,
I'm not saying that Key Collector is better than Wizards. I'm just saying it's what serves the purpose that Wizard used to serve in many ways.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't do the fan casting like Wizard. I used to love the when they'd fan cast a movie or TV show.
That's where we go back to Bobby's comment that
Ah.
YouTube is the new wizard.
Yeah.
I was actually going to say that, Bobby. So great point. I was like, the Key Collector does the key stuff and the hot book stuff, but we do the gossip and all that other stuff that Wizard used to do. So
Right,
Yeah.
the 1-2 punch, so to speak.
you take care of that. That's awesome.
Number 6, Lorenzo.
Number 6 already. Gosh, moving right along here. This one is brand spanking new. Maybe a lot of you non-indie folks may not have heard of this. This is by Zach Thompson. Zach Thompson's done some stuff I like I Breathe the Body. There's another one he never finished called Brother of All Men, which I really hope he's able to finish. But I think that Alpha Shark went belly up, or maybe was not able to finish that story. So maybe he'll be able to finish that on his own or under a Kickstarter or something like that. But anyway, this is a Zach Thompson joint here, and drawn by Daniel Irizarry. Easy for you to say.
you say
I know, right? And this is called Cemetery Kids Don't Die. And, this is a new age kind of a thing. I guess it's very game driven if you're into gaming a lot. I don't do the gaming thing a whole lot, but I was still able to enjoy this because it's such a well told story. And it's about these 4 outsider kids who play this game every night. And it's this game that involves their sleep. They go to sleep, they play the game, and they totally are immersed in the game all throughout their, the sleeping. It's kind of like a dream in a way.
Wow.
I found that fascinating, and I'm big into dreaming myself. I love sleeping and dreaming and that kind of thing. So I really related to this storyline.
I can get it from a standpoint where I have gamed so much at sometimes where then you start dreaming in game.
About the game, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, all your dreams are in the same graphics as the game. It becomes really annoying.
Oh God!
That's
Like
when the game is
Inception.
good when that happens.
Well, that's when I know you gotta. That's when you know you gotta dial it back a bit.
No, I disagree.
I picked it up, but I just wasn't feeling it like you are. Like maybe I need to read it again.
Same
Oh,
here.
you got it too. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Awesome. I picked it up.
I underestimated you guys. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is an awesome book here. No, Scotty, I did not bring it in. I thought about bringing some book, but I thought I spent enough time, talk about other folks stuff this time. But thanks for asking. I did not bring my own stuff. I do occasionally draw.
Check it out.
Yeah. And
it looks like good art too. I like the concept,
Yeah,
like they're lucid dreaming and kind of doing this this adventure together.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of a supernatural thing where they're able to connect with each other.
Yeah. And it's a really touching story with the one kid here, the one in the middle. He's kind of like the guardian of all the other kids. He's kind of like the big brother, and he's going through a lot of stuff. And it's a compelling story. Zach Thompson writes a good story. So this is a good new book. Yes, Between the Lines. I do Between the Lines with everyone. I draw along. I was drawing along last night. That's helping me get back into drawing. So I was going through like this whole, I guess, dry spell, as us artists sometimes do. And Roscoe was kind enough to ask me to be on the guy next week or on Between the Lines.
Well, while you're talking about it, let them know what day and time. That way, the people who are watching now can tune in.
Oh, that's going to be next Monday night at 5:30 Pacific time. I guess 8:30 Eastern. I want to say, you guys out there.
8:30 real time.
Yeah, 8:30 real time.
Look at my comic book dad out here spreading his wings. I'm so excited.
Well, thanks to you, son. I don't get out much, so I appreciate you.
See,
but
now we need like a spin-off title of that. Like the angsty teens. It could be like The Breakfast Club After Midnight.
Ooh.
Or
have
The
you
Breakfast
chosen
Club After Dark?
Yes.
Have you chosen a theme for next week for Between the Lines?
I have. Should I say it? Am I allowed to say it beforehand? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
You
I wasn't
are.
sure the rules. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, my theme was your favorite superhero doing mundane activities, and that's
interesting.
Yeah, because of the indie comics slant is a lot of slice of life books are indie comics, and a lot
Shout out to Critical Entertainment.
Critical Entertainment. Yes.
Get those superheroes out there
ironing his undies.
Yes.
Mowing the lawn, changing out a faucet.
Yeah, doing work around the house, stuff like that. So
all in firewood.
Vision.
Cleaning gutters.
Yes, the mundane can also be interesting. So that's what I'm hoping to get from that
standing
subject.
in line at Costco.
Oh God, I love Costco, man. God bless Costco. That's my new hangout. Sometimes the wife and I hang out there on a date. That's just how much fun I am.
Don't worry, we're all there, Lorenzo.
Except for Marcus. Marcus still has a life.
What do you mean leave home? Don't talk to me about that.
Oh God! So about those Royals tearing it up out there, man.
That was for Callie.
Oh, okay.
Number 7, Lorenzo.
Number 7. This is a book that got some acclaim when it first came out. It's one might say about a lot of stuff that I read. Marcus, you pull this too, or at least you used to pull this. Maybe some of you guys do too. But this
is it PG.
Oh, it's PG. Absolutely. Keeping it casual and PG. Absolutely. And this is the Department of Truth, number 1.
Oh,
nice. Jenny Prison.
Jenny Prison variant. The Jenny Prison variant. Yes. This book can be had for little or nothing right now. And I think this is not my spec pick, but don't sleep on this book. I think if you can find this book for cheap A covers are pretty cheap too. Once they were like $50 a piece or something like that.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be a property at some point. If you want to pick one up just to flip it when that happens, cool. But if you haven't read it, pick it up just to read it. This is a really good story.
Coming back too.
The
interior artwork is not for everybody, though. Just to warn those people out there, like the covers look great, but the interior artwork is weird.
Completely different. Completely different. Yes. I mean, you had those banging Jenny covers. Even the other artists made great covers, but once you get inside, it can be kind of overpowering, really. I mean, it can be. Wow, what's happening? Sometimes it's hard to tell what's happening. You have to look at the story and see what's going on.
And some issues are very dialogue heavy too.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of reading, so just put aside time for that one.
I've never read an issue.
I'm way behind on it.
Was that Gary?
I've never read an issue of it.
Really? Yeah. I mean, it's worth picking up. You can find one, for cheap, which you probably can. Just check it out, see if you like it. It's
that's one of those hot books that has come down now, man. So if you were wanting it, now's the time.
Yeah, that was a hot spec pick for a good minute.
Anything Shinian was huge, right? Anything he was writing, everybody was all over it after Something Is Killing the Children. So any property they were just grabbing up, even if it wasn't good.
To the Tynan fans, he has a Kickstarter with Boom Studios going right now. So check that out to all the Tynan fans.
Okay. Well, man, I can't wait to see what he comes up with. The man.
He's not done with the Nice House on the Lake, because I talked to him last year at Fan Expo, and he's not done with it yet. He's still got more stories to write.
Yeah, they announced it. Nice House by the Sea.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a continuation of that story, then.
It is. Yep. He ain't done with it yet. And I said, man, I don't want to see Walter be done with. And he goes, nope, I got more. I said, good, keep it coming.
That's awesome. That's another great book you should check out. That's come down as well. So yeah. All right. You ready for number 7?
8.
Number 8. Wow. Yeah. I'm one behind. All right. Number 8. Number 8 is from Dark Horse, also an indie. We're heavy into the indies now. I think we're gonna be indie heavy from now on. So
that's okay.
All right. So this one is one of my favorite writers. I got a few of those, but this is one of my favorite indie writers, Matt Kent. And this is like a James Bondian kind of a mashup. On the cover, it says like a mix between James Bond and Tintin. I think that's pretty dead on. This Keanu Reeves has got the pull quote that says that. Maybe you have already guessed what this is if you familiar with this book. So this is number 1 of Bang.
Yes.
Bang number 1. And this may have been licensed also, but this was probably, let me say, before the pandemic, or maybe right.
It was.
Right. Yeah. So I was just, Yes, I was just getting back into the comics thing again. As sometimes we fall out, we go back in, we fall out, we go back in, and this book kind of blew me away. Like, this is awesome. This is in the first few pages, the main character, a bit of a spoiler, you think it's gonna be the main character, just gets blown away. Like, what's happening?
Like Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah,
don't fall in love with any character because they're gonna die.
Yep. And Kent, this is one of his best works here. He did some good stuff for a Bad Idea. He was one of the best writers they had on Bad Idea. One of the best things that whole company had. But he's a great writer also. I think he's also writes legit literature, I think, in novels and things like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? That's cool.
I think so. Yeah. So he's not that comics aren't legit, you know what I'm saying? Just like, the rest of the world calls that legit. So
and that was just a 4-issue limited series too.
Yeah.
It's too bad that one didn't get like a spin-off too, because it's such a good story.
Yeah. But
that's one of the things I like about Dark Horse is they'll do like 4-issue minis.
Yeah, just a short, so it's not a big commitment.
Right.
That's
just a couple of variants on that one too.
That's my wheelhouse. 4 issues, a couple variants. That's it.
Done.
Yeah. So this is.
Damn it, E-Man.
Because the damn good, probably better than Giant. You always let them get to you about that, man. You just
they're trying to trigger me, and it's working.
That's Marcus's trigger.
They're just poking the bear. They're just poking, Mention Tinian. They'll do it.
Well, yeah, and something's killing children. This generation's Buffy.
Oh God!
I'm really trying to trigger Marcus now.
Oh God!
Wow. Jeez. The good thing you got me between you and him there. Eh?
Well, to be fair, Buffy does have a loyal following too, so you can't something's a little bit stronger than Buffy, but regardless, yes. Let's hope.
Mr. Andrews.
Thank you, Gore. Nice to see you. All right, number 9, buddy. As we're letting Marcus do in the bottom as he plans his revenge.
For that reason, he's out.
You will pay. You will pay.
Right.
All right, so staying with the indies here, of course. This series, I think, just finished early this year. It was a 3-issue, like I wouldn't say premium. It was a regular size issue, but as far as the actual size, but the thickness is like I want to say it's about a 70, 60, 80 page kind of a job here. And it's by Jay Stevens. Jay Stevens, you may not know who he is, but he does some really great, this is not even his style.
Wow,
but
that is cool.
Yeah, and he's a big fan of the Harvey comics from back in the day. I know you guys remember like Little Lulu and Richie Rich.
Yep.
Yeah.
Classic Gold Key stuff, man.
Yeah, and Del. Del. Yep. It's got that style. And he's totally just like way Jim Rugg, one of my other favorite artists who can just mimic anyone, he mimics that style so beautifully in this book, in these 3 books. It's a 3-issue series. And it's so dark. It's a dark murder mystery, supernatural thing that takes place in this fictional town of Elfwich, Ontario. And the townsfolk are going through some really strange things, and it's hilarious in many ways. It's dark in some ways, but if you got a love for that era comic of this style from the Harvey era, or the cartoony style, which is used in a kind of a adult themed story, like stray dogs and things like that, this is something you should probably check out.
In nice square bound books too.
Love square bound books. This is worth the $10. I don't mind paying. I paid $10 for this, no problem.
And didn't they just have a one-shot come out too, Lorenzo?
Was that? Sorry.
I think they just had a one-shot of it come out last month too, didn't they?
Did they? I might have missed that. Yeah, I may have missed that. I may have seen it in previews.
Issue or 2 that came out separate.
Yeah. I got the first 3, but I have to look for that. If there's another one out there, maybe it's like an epilogue. Because each issue is self-contained. It's not you can read one without reading the other, but there are recurring characters in each issue that were in the first issue, unless they were killed off, of course.
Right.
So yeah, but this is standalone or with the whole series, a must read for indie comics fans. I think this is
anthology horror is just so fun.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it shoots back to that whole EC era.
Yeah.
Where it all began, that kind of a thing before.
Without the comic book code.
Yes. Damn you, Frederick Wortham. You SOB. Yeah. So, yeah, we don't have to deal with that anymore.
All right. Number 10.
Wow. Number 10. Wow. All right. This was my favorite book of last year. And it's only one issue had come out, and we do a end of year thing where we talk about our favorite books every year. And I've only seen one issue of this book when we did that show. And you know what? This is good enough. That's good enough. I've seen enough. I thought this was the best thing I read in a long time. And this is number 1 of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
Yeah.
And this is the shiny edition signed by Patrick Horvath himself.
Ooh,
crazy.
Yeah, so this is a 6-issue limited series. A 6th issue just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, I mean, I can't tell you how much I love this book. This is so awesome. Even if it weren't like, and it's holding its value. I mean, on JP's show where he talks about, is it a trap? Is it a dumpster fire? This one is moved up to straight cash. Yeah. I mean, many times the indies don't do that. So this is kind of an outlier, but it's
one
awesome.
of the rare ones. Yeah, the hype is real for this book.
The hype is real. And if you haven't read it, don't let anybody spoil it for you. Read that first issue and see what you think, because it just knocked my socks off. I didn't think anything of it. I just pre-ordered it, with the usual stuff every month, and this is okay. And then I actually read it. I was just, this is awesome. This is like it's written like a children's book,
Right.
but it's a tale of a serial killer. And
well, I remember I saw one of the covers, and one of the covers reminded me of like the Berenstain Bears, but dark.
Yeah,
they had like that kind of art to it, right?
Exactly.
Like, this is a cute book. No.
Yeah, I know, right? Keep it away from the kids, please. This is not for the kids. So I think it had a mature warning on there. But man, if you like this, maybe I'm sure there'll be a trade coming out soon. You can wait for that. But
and again, a bunch of covers.
Actually, not too many to begin with. It was only an A and a B, and maybe a 1 for 25 to begin with. And it got more popular, and later printings had more and more covers. And this cover came out like maybe a couple months ago, even. So this is like this shiny one. I bought it from what was it, FOC Books or whatever it is on Instagram. I saw an ad for it, and I bought it, and and it was signed, so I just had to have it. It's just beautiful.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, it's only a book you have. I'll just say this without spoiling it, where you, at some point, you may be rooting for one of the serial killers, because there's one that's worse than the other, which is bizarre. It's totally bizarre, but he was like, okay, I kind of want this one to take that one out because he's worse, But it's
Nice.
Yeah, make you question your morals.
Now 11 with a personal extended
Basically,
personal.
who has morals?
What's that, Rob?
He said it makes you question your morals. I said, who has morals?
Yeah, I know. Morals overrated. All right. The one with the personal story. Well, years ago, I want to say it was in the early aughts. Again, I did a lot of. I got back into comics for the umpteenth time again in the early aughts, and at that time I was hanging with these people who were like, they read comics. They collected comics more than they read comics. They were guys who they dealt in spec. That was a big thing back then, and they would always. This is like just before CGC got going. I think maybe they were on the scene or just about to come on the scene. It was like 2020 or 2021. 2001, I'm sorry, or 2001.
Right. Yeah, because I think CGC started in 2000.
2000, yeah. So they were just getting off the ground then. So they weren't the behemoth they are today. So there was not a lot of graded books, but these guys were all about the graded books, all about this and that. And we went to this convention in Toronto. Great time. I forget the name of the fair. It was held at the center downtown by where the Blue Jays play. Beautiful place. I love Toronto. Would love to get back there someday.
The Metro Convention Center.
Yes, sir. That's what it was. Yes, and there were a lot of great guests there. And back in those days, they let the guests just mingle with just the civilians. They weren't held behind a paywall where you had to buy a VIP ticket to get signatures and things like that. It was the Fan Expo, yeah. And so a lot of one guy was there that I really liked was John Romita Jr. This was not long after the 36 ASM 36 came out with the World Trade Center cover, the black one.
Yep.
And I got him to sign, and he actually did like a little remark on the cover of that book, and I didn't even ask him to do it, and I was like, thank you so much for doing that. I still got that. That's a different story. But among those guests was Michael Turner, and Ooh. Michael Turner was so cool. I mean, we sat down with him. Well, I sat down with him because other guys were looking for CGC or or high grade bronze and silver keys. But I sat down after I got some of my books signed with he signed a bunch of my stuff. I mean, Michael Turner signed so many things, and I bought some things just to try to thank him for it, but he didn't ask for any extra for signing it.
Right.
And this one is one of the ones that he signed that I have still left.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Fathom #1, and he was signed them always across the trade dress. Yeah,
that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and we talked to that guy for like, I swear, like 20 minutes, because it was not super busy, and we were just hanging around, and he just was such a friendly, outgoing guy, and he just had no idea that just a couple years later he would be gone.
Yep, I love creators that'll do that. That'll just sit there and talk with you, like those. Yeah, are the best.
Yeah.
They have the same love and passion for the books that we do.
Yes, and now sometimes they're not the bigger ones, and maybe not able to do that because they got handlers and people are being moved along through the line to make sure that everyone gets through and everyone who's got paid for that VIP ticket gets served first and all that. And but then it was more of a personal thing, and I got to, I'm gonna say get to know him, but I really got to just like hang with a guy, and so it really was. It was really moving to me when I heard he had passed, because he was such a young man. I mean, he had to be like in his 30s, I want to say, when it happened.
Yeah, you just never know, right?
Yeah, you just never know. And I was always thought like, wow, he signed all these books for me, and I'm gonna, this is my favorite one. I'm gonna keep this forever. And so I may get it graded just to have it encapsulated so it doesn't get harmed, but I'm not gonna sell it. Maybe I'll just keep it like this. Who knows? But this is one that. It's personal for me because of those reasons, because that's like the golden era of Comic Cons for me when I first got back into comics, and you could afford to go like and not pay $100 a day just to get in and still not have a VIP ticket. So,
yeah,
and I love Michael Turner's art. I've always been a big fan of his.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a definitive style, and it was just beautiful to look at. And this is one of his personal characters that he created. Aspen, I want to say, is the character's name from Fathom. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get like a lot of the Aspen comics you can get in the dollar bins. They're really underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like Fathom and stuff like that. You can get all the first issues, and they don't cost a lot of money.
They don't. You see, this has been a parade of dollar books for me here today, pretty much. But it's some of my favorite things. So like you said, it's not about the value.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, they still put out stuff with him. They just put different skins on some of the drawings. Like I have Spider Woman of him. I have Spider Man of him. I have, he had that Red Sonja Spider Man series, which he did the covers and interior art for, which was amazing.
Whoa! Wow. Yeah, and it's funny how you're gone and you're still your work is still out here selling somehow. I hope somebody is getting some royalties from that. Yeah. Same with George Perez. All of them pretty much. Jack Kirby. They have variant coats with Jack Kirby on them from time to time.
Right. All right. So number 12, your spec pick, Lorenzo.
This is my spec pick. Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. It's nothing.
Is it Star Wars?
Oh, Mark, that would be such a doomsayer. Come on.
He's giving me shit. I collect a whole bunch of Star Wars, and I buy them cover price. And then one of these days, man, this is going to be a first appearance.
Is it that new Buffy show? Something's killing the children.
Forever hope.
Oh God.
Okay, I'm sorry. Back on track.
You're good.
All right. It's neither of those, unfortunately. This one, this is a book that had a lot of buzz at first. It may have been licensed or whatever. Not sure. But this is number 6 in that series. It's on hiatus now. It may come back at some point. But I believe it only went to number 15 and it took a break. And this is Bitterroot number 6. And it's the graded copy of the Do the Right Thing homage cover. I love me some homage covers, man.
That's awesome.
Love. And I couldn't find this thing raw, so I'm just going to go ahead and, I got it for a decent price. So I'm just going to get this. I already have like the number 6 that I can read. So I can just admire this cover, for what it is. I love
the homage cover the most.
Yeah.
Which one? The purple? Oh, I have that one too. Yes, I have that one too. Yep. I've got that one CBCS graded. So I sent that one in myself, signed by the writer. Who's my man? David Walker, David A. Walker. So I got that one signed by David Walker, and at the I think 2 years ago at the Seattle Con. So yeah, Bitterroot I think is going to be a thing. It's a really great story about this family that's involved in what they call root working, basically low end sorcery. So this is kind of a thing that I think would make a good. This is also back in the 20s. So this Do the Right Thing homage is really an abstract kind of a cover. So that makes it I think genius on some levels, because that's my favorite Spike Lee film, first of all, and I love this series. So the two things coming together are just great. So
I was just gonna say too, imagine getting Spike Lee's signature on that cover.
Yeah.
Great homage.
I know. Get him to sign the cover.
I wouldn't want Spike Lee's the signature on it.
You put it on the slab and you can wipe it off.
There you go. I just write myself and say it's Spike Lee. Yeah,
there you go.
That's me.
Use a dry erase marker.
Now that's the only problem with the indies, right? They'll go for a while, then they go on hiatus.
They do, and then they disappear, and then the hype goes away, and then you get them cheap.
Right? Will they be back in a year, 2 years? Who knows?
Yep.
Look at Saga. Saga comes back, goes on hiatus again, comes back, goes on hiatus again.
Saga's been on for a long hiatus. I mean, between this time and the time before that was even longer hiatus, I think, right? So, yeah. So, yeah, but if you don't go away, how can I miss you?
Right?
Absence make the heart go fonder. There you go. So
get everybody excited again, so it gives another spike in sales.
That's right.
They come down and okay, let's go on hiatus. Now let's go. Hey, new coming out. What? Oh my God, we gotta get it.
Right?
Homo.
Well, that's when you get everyone in the comic store. Like, what do you mean you don't have you mean the book that was out 3 years ago? No, we don't have any more of them left. They sold.
Yeah.
And then they're all mad at you.
They released a new trade.
It's an indie version of what Marvel does, which is release a number one. Reboot it, make another one. Yeah,
constantly.
The indies will just take a break and just come back, with a new issue,
right?
Which is happening.
But they still keep the legacy numbers on there, so it's like, why did you even bother? Because you got the legacy. Oh, look, 300 just came out. Let's do an.
I don't know, man. The ASM is the worst because they reboot that. How many times now? 8 at least, and then 6 times. Okay,
it's not the worst. There's actually
you're right. There are worse.
I think Daredevil or something else. There's a couple that are worse that are like at 8.
Moon Knight, Daredevil,
and Miles Morales, who hasn't been out that long, has already been rebooted about several times.
Same with Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen.
No, there's more than that.
Spider-Gwen, yeah.
Yes.
Spider-Gwen's been rebooted a ton.
Yes. There she is there. Oh, there she is there.
Yes. The part
this way.
Spider-Gwen,
That way.
They ran a limited series, and they run another series, and it petered out. And then they think, oh, she's popular, let's bring her back again. And then that series peters out. So it's in her case, it's because of poor sales. And then there's a clamoring for her for some reason. And then
she's an interesting looking character. I think that's what they just don't know what to do with her.
Yeah, bad.
They keep testing the waters. Yeah,
they need a good writer on it. Get McKay on it.
The story that they put in the giant size that just came out, I thought was good. When with her and MJ and them kind of having to find some help for MJ. So the
giant size ASM.
No, the Spider-Gwen, giant size Spider-Gwen.
Oh, giant. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think that story was too bad, and then they had the reprint story in the back because all those giant sizes had an original story and then a reprint
and then a back. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't see that one. I was so burned by this one that came out, the What If book. I normally love What If books, but the What If Spider-Gwen dark whatever, and where she would have gotten she would have survived, I guess, the fall, and instead Peter died. I was so disappointed with that book. I was like, oh my God, this is awful. I feel like I've been cheated out of $5. This is a terrible story. And if anybody read that story, I let me know if you agree with it or not. But man, that was such a disappointing story.
You're right though. This is the 5th Miles series right now that we're currently on.
Yeah. He's been around.
Cody Ziegler's doing a good job on it.
Yeah.
No, but it's like,
why bother rebooting? Just put a new author on it.
Well, and then as soon as they got the issue 18, they're quick to go. Oh, this is legacy issue, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and they've done the same thing with Captain Marvel and Spider Woman in the last 2 years. The series ends, and all of a sudden it's rebooted with a different creative team.
Because it gets people buy it, gets a spike in sales, and then what they'll do is they get with the legacy numbering and the regular numbering, they'll do whatever anniversary issue or big round number is the. I mean, you had it with ASM at one point where they had within 10 issues they had like a big. Here's the 50th it was in 2 issues. It was like issue 48 was like the 800th issue or something for Legacy. Yeah. And then issue 50, then they made a big blue about issue 50 in the run. Right. And it was it was 2 issues apart, for God's sakes.
Yeah, and they want to charge you $10 for every anniversary issue they come up with.
Exactly. And then variants, all those homages and variants. And
when that ASM one came out, I'm like, I'm not buying that for $10. And then they put Spider Woman on the cover. I'm like, you motherfucker.
They know how to get us, Gary. They know how to get us.
Better yet, they had Bruce Timm do a Mary Jane. And I was like, I'm in.
Oh, man. I tell you, if not for those covers, I'm being a cover whore myself, I would not have all these ASM books that I have. They put, you put that on the cover? I got to get that one now.
Patrick Gleason? Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah.
See, Gleason doesn't sell me, so I'm okay with that. I think Gleason's one of those overrated guys.
He suckered me in.
He hasn't done any for a while now, so.
Especially since he did that one thing that everybody went crazy over, and then he did it 17 more times. It's like, all right.
Well, I haven't seen a webhead one since the 2nd issue of this series.
Because Marvel made him kill it, and I know that's not him. That's Marvel, just like
monopolizing on it.
Absolutely.
But they take away what's special about what he did with the one.
Totally.
They ruin it.
Totally. Greed.
But gents, Marcus. First of all, who's not here, thank you. Go check out his FOC and Chill, which will be starting at 9:30. Always fun to have Marcus on, and he has a great channel and show himself. He just passed 900. If you're not subbed to Marcus, please go throw him a sub. As Rob and Steve, thank you guys once again for being my co-host. I appreciate it as always. I love the different voices, the different points of views, the different knowledge is always great. But of course, our guest. Lorenzo, thank you so much for coming on, sir. We'll have to get you back on again sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Gary. It's been a blast.
I hope you had a good time on the show.
Oh, my God. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. This is fun. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. And, of course, to our great crowd, we had a great chat going tonight, a lot of supportive people. And everyone who's in the chat, and if you're catching this on the rewind, Rob's links, Steve's links, Lorenzo's links, everyone's links is in the description below. Make sure you go follow them up. Steve's channel is growing. Go follow him for Transformers G.I. Joe. Rob's got a lot of content coming up with comics curing cancer. I don't know, Rob, if we're going to get to you in a second when we start going around the horn. But go follow Rob, DJ, and Mark from Legion of Comics for some content about comics curing cancer and the events that are coming up with that. And with that, we're going to go around the horn and see what everyone's got coming up before we do our final farewell. Rob, we always start with you on Tuesdays, sir.
Well, this Thursday I'll have a video dropping. This PGX Conversion Therapy Part 2. Who took some PGX books that were signed and authenticated 9.8s and sent them to CBCS because at the time CGC wasn't doing anything yet, and had them, or I cracked them out, had them regrade them and re-authenticate the signatures, and we'll see how those come back. And I got notification, so very quickly, in short order, we're going to have part 3 of PGX Conversion Therapy, where I will have sent in 6 Silver Age mid-grade Spider-Man books out of PGX Labs to CGC to see what those come back after having been regraded by CGC. So there'll be some interesting things. The last one in the series I have planned is I'm going to take some 9, 9, and 10s from PGX and send them to CGC now that they're supposedly looking for that to see what happens.
That'll be cool.
I'm still one of the people. I love the CBCS slabs. Those things are solid. They're beautiful. I think they are a fantastic product.
Yeah, no, they're great. And obviously it's Saturday, swing on by. We have only slabs. We have the patron of comic art again. He's coming back.
Cool.
Nice.
Right.
Always a good time there.
Steve, what's coming up for you, sir?
I just do a couple of things. I got the Voices Choices, and then Mondays I've been figuring out which books to talk about. So I started in on the Transformer collection. So it's some nice Jim Lee covers, and then the occasional unboxing. And of course, I got to hang out with Gary on Tuesdays, which is awesome. Thanks for having me come out every time.
Right. And thank you. And Lorenzo, what's coming up for you, sir?
Well, tomorrow I have our weekly live stream with my comic son, Marcus. And we're going to be doing that. We do that actually every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That'd be 8 p.m. God's time, as he would say. And what do you call your time, Gary? 9 p.m. Real time? Eastern time. Real time. Yes. So real time. So we do it every week, and we talk about stuff here and there. It's kind of like a variety show of comics. I just throw a bunch of stuff into that. I do reviews on there, and I do 3 indie comics reviews. Sometimes we'll have a guest. Other times we'll just count down next week's stuff, what's going to be coming out, and we look at what's going to be for sale next week, and what my favorite pick for the indie book is for next week. My favorite pick of indie book for next week.
Nice. And coming up for me, guys, in 2 nights' time, we have another game board edition of the 10-1-1.
Yeah.
This time with Mr. Mark Andrews. So we'll have Milt and
Chuck
co-hosting. Steve, you're welcome to jump on that show as a co-host as well if you like. So we got them in the co-hosting seat as Mark Andrew goes through his 10-1-1 of board games. And if you guys watched the one with Milt, it was great. His personal storyboard game from 1929.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. And that thing looked so nice. It was great. But so a lot of fun. And then next week we have Cuppy William making his second 10-1-1 appearance. And then we have on the 23rd, we're going to do it in the hot seat, and we're having Doug Bratton on to talk about his Kickstarter Isolation. So it'll be a lot of fun, and we're going to get to learn all about that. And if you haven't backed Isolation, please go back that. It's already 400% funded, so congratulations to Doug and team.
Nice.
And thank you once again to the crowd tonight. We appreciate you guys. And as I like to end all these things, keep it casual, and see you next time.